Hey everyone. Shiva is present everywhere. As Adi Shankaracharya once said, "Forgive me, O Shiva, my 3 great sins. I came on a pilgrimage to Kashi forgetting that you are omnipresent. In thinking about you, I forgot that you are beyond thought. In praying to you, I forgot that you are beyond words." To sustain the law and balance of nature, Lord Shiva took many avatars in various yogas. In Shiv Mahapurana, there is a mention of these avatars. Today, let's know about the divine avatars of Lord Shiva. Let's start the video, but before that, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. As per the legends, Shiva was born as Pippalad to sage Dadichi. The sage left his son even before he was born. Upset without his father, Pippalad asked the Devas why his father left him. They told him that the unfortunate circumstances were formed because of the planetary position of Shani. On learning this, Pippalad cursed Shani and Shani started falling from his celestial abode. Pippalad forgave Shani on the condition that he will not trouble anyone before 16 years of age. It is believed that praying to this form of Lord Shiva helps people to get rid of Shani dosha. According to Shiv Puran, Lord Brahma had named this avatar of Lord Shiva. Sati was the youngest daughter of Daksha, the king of all men. When Sati grew up, she married Lord Shiva, much to the displeasure of her father. One day, Daksha made arrangements for a great yajna and invited all the gods, omitting only Lord Shiva. Sati's urge to go to her home due to her affection towards her parents overpowered the social etiquette for not going to an uninvited ceremony. Daksha insulted her and Shiva in front of others. Unable to bear further trauma, she ran into the sacrificial fire. When Lord Shiva came to know about this, with deep sorrow and anger, he plucked a lock of hair and threw it on the ground. Lord Veerabhadra and Rudrakali were born. Veerabhadra is believed to be the destroyer of Ajnana. His tall body reached the high heavens. He was dark as the clouds, had 3 burning eyes and fiery hair. He wore a garland of skulls and carried terrible weapons. To provide him power, Bhadrakali arrived, a wrathful incarnation of Devi. On the direction of Shiva, Veerabhadra appeared amid Daksha's assembly like a storm and broke the sacrificial vessels, polluted the offerings, insulted the priests, and finally cut off Daksha's head, trampled on Indra, broke the staff of Yama, scattered the gods on every side. Then he returned to Kailash. Bhairava, sometimes known as Kala Bhairava, Kal Bhairab, Annadhani Bhairavi, Bhairo or Bhairadhya is a fierce manifestation of Lord Shiva associated with annihilation. The origin of Bhairava can be traced to the conversation between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu recounted in Shiv Mahapuran, where Lord Vishnu asks Lord Brahma, who is the supreme creator of the universe. Arrogantly, Brahma tells Vishnu to worship him because he is a supreme creator. This angered Shiva, who then incarnated in the form of Bhairava to punish Brahma. Bhairava beheaded one of Brahma's 5 heads, and since then Brahma has only 4 heads. When depicted as Kala Bhairava, Bhairava is shown carrying the severed head of Brahma. Cutting off Brahma's 5th head made him guilty of the crime of killing a Brahmin, and as a result, he had to carry around the disembodied skull for 12 years and roam as a Bhikshatana, a mendicant, until he had been absolved of the sin. In the form of the frightful Bhairava, Shiva is said to be guarding each of the Shakti Pithas. Each Shakti Pitha temple is accompanied by a temple dedicated to Lord Bhairava. According to Mahabharata, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama, is an amsha of Lord Shiva's Kal, Krodh, which is anger, and Yam, which is death. During Samudra Manthan, Halahal, the fuming poison capable of burning the universe, appeared, and all Danav, Dev, Manav, Yaksha, Gandharva fled. All of them along with Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma. But came Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva consumed Halahal and held it in his throat. However, unable to bear its consequences, it started burning him. The Vish Purush sprung out of him and folded his palms. Lord Shiva asked him that although Lord Vishnu hadn't let you kill the people, yet in Dwapar Yuga during the Mahabharata war, with my blessings, you would be able to kill oppressive Kshatriyas. You will be born as Bharadwaja's grandson and be raised as Brahman, but attracted towards Kshatriyahood. This Vish Purush was born as Ashwathama to Drona and Kripi. Shrabha is a creature that is part lion and part bird. According to Sanskrit literature, Shrabha is an 8-legged beast mightier than a lion and elephant and which can kill the lion. In later literature, Shrabha is described as an 8-legged deer. Shiv Puran narrates that the god Shiva assumed the avatar of Shrabha to tame Narsimha, the fierce man-lion avatar of Vishnu worshipped by the Vaishnava sect, into a normal pleasant form representing harmony. This form is popularly known as Sarabeshwara or Lord Sarabha or Sarabeshwara Murti. Once upon a time, there used to live a Brahmin named Vishwanar who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Suchismati was his devoted wife. Suchismati expressed her desire to have a son just like Lord Shiva. Vishwanar went to Kashi to please Lord Shiva with his penance. He worshipped Vishweshwar Linga with supreme devotion. Lord Shiva became very pleased by this devotion and he appeared before Vishwanar from the Shivlinga. When Vishwanar expressed his desire, Lord Shiva agreed to take birth as his son. In due course of time, Suchismati gave birth to a beautiful child. Lord Brahma named the child as Grihapati. When Grihapati attained the age of 6, he was proficient in all the Vedas and other sacred texts. When Grihapati attained the age of 9, Narada came and informed Vishwanar that the death of Grihapati was imminent because of the evil effects of the planetary combinations. Grihapati then consoled his parents and proceeded towards Kashi to do penance so that the death could be conquered. Grihapati commenced his penance at Kashi. Indra arrived there and requested him to demand anything he wished, but Grihapati refused. Indra became furious and tried to attack him with his Vajra. Grihapati was very terrified. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared and Indra had to retreat from the scene. Lord Shiva blessed Grihapati by saying, "Even Kal Vajra would not be able to kill you." Grihapati became very pleased. The Shivlinga which he worshipped later on became famous as Agnishwar Linga. Lord Shiva made Grihapati the lord of all the directions. Lord Shiva was so infatuated by the appearance of Lord Vishnu in the form of Mohini during the Amrit Manthan episode that a semen was released on the ground. This semen was established by the Saptarishis in the womb of Anjani with the permission of Lord Shiva himself. In this way was born the mighty Hanuman, who is considered an Amsha of Lord Shiva. After the churning of the ocean had been accomplished, Lord Vishnu made the deities drink all the nectar. When the demons came to know about this, they became very furious and attacked the deities. Ultimately, the demons were defeated. To save their lives, the demons ran towards their abode. Lord Vishnu chased the demons and killed them. However, he became infatuated with some enchanting beauties. During his stay in the Patal Lok, many sons were born to Lord Vishnu, who was very wicked and cruel. These sons of Lord Vishnu started tormenting the inhabitants of all three worlds. All the deities and the sages went to Lord Shiva to take his help. Lord Shiva went to Patal Lok in form of an ox. He killed all the sons of Lord Vishnu with his sharp horns. Seeing the death of his sons, Lord Vishnu came forward to fight him. He attacked Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva couldn't be conquered. Ultimately, Lord Vishnu was able to recognize him and return to Vishnu Loka. There used to live a Bhil, a tribal man named Ahuk, on the Arbudachal mountain, with his wife Ahuka, and both of them were supreme devotees of Lord Shiva. Once Lord Shiva, wanting to test their devotion, appeared before them disguised as a hermit, Yatinath. Ahuk honored his guest and treated him very well. Lord Shiva then requested him to give shelter for the whole night. Ahuk expressed his inability as he had a very small hut in which only 2 people could be accommodated at a time. But his wife intervened and requested Ahuk to sleep outside the hut with his arms, as it would be inappropriate on their part to miss this chance to prove their hospitality. The hermit, who in reality was Lord Shiva, and Ahuk's wife slept inside the hut, while Ahuk himself slept outside. Unfortunately, Ahuk was killed by a wild animal while he was asleep. In the morning, when Lord Shiva found that Ahuk had died, his heart was filled with grief. But Ahuka consoled him and decided to give up her life by jumping into the burning pyre. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared in his real form and blessed her by saying, "In his next birth, your husband would take birth in a royal family. He would become Nala and you would be born as Damayanti. I would myself appear in the form of a swan and help both of you to unite." After saying this, Lord Shiva established himself as an immovable Shivlinga, which later on became famous as Achaleshwar Linga. Once, there was a king Nabhag who during his childhood left his home for Gurukula to get an education. In his absence, his brothers got the wealth of the kingdom distributed among themselves. When Nabhag returned home after the completion of his education, he demanded his share of wealth. His brothers told him that they had forgotten to fix his share as he was absent at the time of distribution. They advised him to go and meet their father. Nabhag went to his father and made the same request. His father advised him to go to sage Angiras, who was trying to accomplish a yajna, but was not able to accomplish it because of his attachment. Nabhag did the same. He went to the place where sage Angiras was performing his yajna. He preached sage Angiras on the virtues of religiousness. As a result, the sage became free from all sorts of attachments and the yajna was completed. Sage Angiras was very pleased by Nabhag's knowledge of religion. He gave all the remaining wealth of the yajna to Nabhag. Just then, Lord Shiva arrived there in his incarnation of Krishna Darshan and tried to prevent sage Angiras from donating the wealth to Nabhag. Instead, he staked his claim. Nabhag told Lord Shiva that since the wealth was given to him by sage Angiras himself, it naturally belonged to him. Lord Shiva then sent Nabhag to his father, Shraddhadev, to know about his opinion. Nabhag went to Shraddhadev, who revealed to him that the person who was staking his claims on the wealth was none other than Lord Shiva. He also told him that whatever remained after the accomplishment of the yajna belonged to Lord Shiva only. He went back to Lord Shiva and worshipped him. Lord Shiva then blessed him, which helped Nabhag to attain salvation. There was a king named Satyarath who ruled over Vidarbha. Once he was attacked by a neighboring king and got killed in that battle. His wife somehow managed to save her life by hiding in a forest. The queen was pregnant at that time. At the shore of a pond, she gave birth to a child. She was feeling thirsty, so she went into the pond to quench her thirst. Unfortunately, she was killed by a crocodile who used to live in that pond. the hungry child started crying. A beggar woman arrived there with a 1-year-old child. Though her heart was filled with compassion seeing the hungry child cry, still she was hesitating to take him in her lap. Right then, Lord Shiva appeared as a beggar and advised her to bring up the orphan child. Upamanyu was the son of sage Vyagrapad, who was brought up in his maternal uncle's home since his childhood. One day, Upamanyu was crying for milk when his mother told him that if he wanted milk, then he should worship Lord Shiva, as he only was capable of making the milk available. Upamanyu proceeded towards the Himalayas and started doing penance to please Lord Shiva. His penance generated so much heat that all the 3 worlds started burning. To test his devotion, Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati appeared before him disguised as Indra and Indrani respectively. Both of them told Upamanyu to stop doing penance. They said, "We, Indra and Indrani, are extremely pleased by your devotion. Stop worshipping Shiva. We will fulfill all your desires." Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati did not stop at this. They even cursed Shiva. Upamanyu became very furious and got up to attack the abuser Indra. Shiva and Parvati were satisfied by his total dedication and devotion. They revealed their real identity and blessed him. Shiva promised Upamanyu that he would be present in the vicinity of his hermitage along with Parvati forever. Upamanyu returned to his home and narrated the whole story to his very pleased mother. Lord Shiva got the name Sureshwar because he appeared in the guise of Indra. Once, Arjuna was performing a tremendous penance to please Lord Shiva. Duryodhan had sent a demon named Muka to kill Arjuna. Muka had disguised himself as a boar. Arjuna was engrossed in his meditation when suddenly his concentration got disturbed by a loud noise. He opened his eyes and saw Muka being chased by a Kirat. It was none other than Shiva, who had appeared in the guise of Kirat. Both Arjuna and Lord Shiva struck the boar with their respective arrows at the same time. A disagreement broke between Arjuna and Kirat over who killed the boar. Arjuna challenged Shiva for a duel. Shiva was very much impressed by his valor. He revealed his real identity. Arjuna was very ashamed that he fought with Shiva, but Lord Shiva consoled him and gave his weapon Pashupat to Arjuna. After defeating the demons in the Samudra Manthan, the Devas were very arrogant. Lord Shiva was very concerned about their arrogant nature. He went to them in the guise of a yaksha. He asked as to what is it that had made them so arrogant. The deities replied that their arrogance stemmed from victory over the demons. Lord Shiva, who was disguised as yaksha, replied, "Your pride is based on a false notion because you did not achieve victory due to somebody's grace and blessings." Lord Shiva then asked them to cut the grass if they considered themselves so mighty. He then kept a grass leaf in front of them. Each of the deities tried to cut that grass with their respective weapons but remained unsuccessful in their attempts. Suddenly, a heavenly voice was heard which said that the yaksha was none other than Lord Shiva himself. The deities realized their mistakes and apologized to Lord Shiva. Well, that's it for today. I hope you're liking Nerdy's discoveries. Can't wait for the next video to learn more and be fascinated about. See you on the next. Bye.